All right. So you're going to introduce the topic. I'll bring us in. How about that?
All right.
Ready?
Okay.
Action.
Okay.
Hey,
Welcome.
welcome back.
Oh,
Oh, I said
please.
I'm bringing
I'm
us.
sorry. You know what? You did say that. You're gonna bring it. Okay, please now. Ready?
Jesus, have you been drinking? That's the question.
I should be, but no.
Welcome to Conversations with Asha and Steve, where communication matters. Join us as we discuss effective ways to communicate, bridge the gaps, and build long-lasting relationships within your business and life. Here are your hosts, Asha Prasad and Steve Harper.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to Conversations with Asha and Steve. I am Steve Harper, and with me, as always, is my amazing co-host, Dr. Asha Prasad. Asha, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Steve, how are you?
I am sort of good.
Sort of.
COVID has hit our house, so we've
Oh
got the
no.
bid. My son came down not feeling well a couple of days ago. He tested positive. So far, I've tested negative, but I don't feel great. But that's why my
Okay.
background is way different than normal because I'm at
Right.
home being a good, responsible citizen.
Hey, that's good. I like to hear
Very
that.
unusual for me, right? So I've turned over a whole new leaf now.
Wow.
But anyway, no, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but not too bad. So, I'm glad
Okay.
we're
Well,
doing
I
well.
hope
This
that
is the
that.
highlight of my day. So,
Yeah. No. I hope that passes quickly and everybody doesn't feel too bad because that's
yeah,
it's really interesting because everybody feels different things whenever they get COVID. Some people headaches, some people brain fog, some people tired and can't focus and can't concentrate. So
well, I have brain fog all the time, so I wouldn't know the difference, right?
but
I'm
I
just like,
wonder I
yeah,
wonder though, Steve, wait a second, if you have brain fog all the time, does it neutralize it whenever you get it?
maybe I don't know. Is it like what is it? A positive and a negative is a negative. If a negative and a negative is a positive, I don't know. I was not good at math.
Is that math? Okay.
Is it a positive? Yeah? What is? Never mind.
It's okay. So
So,
let's
what are we talking about today?
I'm excited because I am going to be asking you some questions. I mean, of course, we're both going to be discussing this, but
I was going to say,
actually,
hello, conversation between us, not with just me.
a conversation is not a monologue. I know. Anyway, so actually, I had a client of mine asking a question based on they had seen a couple of our episodes, and they wanted to know how Steve Harper stays in a presence of mind being an owner of three businesses. And
Oh,
so, yeah, because I don't remember which episode it was, but um they had listened to us and they were like, "Wait a minute, he has three businesses. How does he stay present and how does he go from like, working with your employees and then getting, putting the hat on of the CEO where you have to have an important conversation or a sales call and then, whatever it is, like how do you do that?" So, how
well,
do
I
you do it,
never
Steve?
do. So I never ask the question. So there's my answer right there.
You delegate. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
I mean, you kind of understand this. I mean, you're running multiple businesses. It's a push pull kind of situation, right? To
Yes.
a certain degree, I think you focus on what's most critical and important in the moment, and
Mhm.
you're always looking to make the best next right decision for whatever it is that you're
Yeah.
focused on. And I think probably the older I get, the more understanding of how I leverage my time and how I'm going to prioritize what's critical to me uh,
Mhm.
really takes a very concentrated effort to look at my day ahead or my week ahead and really plan appropriately and build in enough time so that I feel like I've got a little bit of relief and a little bit of a break mentally and
Right.
physically from some of these activities so I can keep a high energy level. And so I
Mhm.
think for me it really is trying to plan for my success as much as I possibly can. Obviously, as well as I do, things get thrown in our our lap on a daily
Yes.
basis. But if you've built in enough flexibility and we've talked about it on many episodes, you've got a good team, a good support
Yeah.
infrastructure, you've got processes and an approach that, is repeatable, that your organization can do some of the things that need to be done and take
Mhm.
that off your plate so you can think about or focus on the large situations, the large critical
Mhm.
elements of your business, then it certainly helps. But I mean, that's kind of how I approach it. I didn't.
Mhm.
I think I was a lot more reactionary than I used to be, or I
Right.
was a lot more reactionary in my
Mhm.
earlier days as an entrepreneur than I tend to be today. I like
Mhm.
having as much control and a lot more predictability in my day as much
Right.
as I possibly can. So, what about you?
Well, Steve, I have a question about that before. Like, do you actually write it out? Do you actually like plan it? Do you have like do you have your agenda, your calendar, your book, or what do you do? How do you
Yeah, I have an agenda that
Okay.
I try to output everything I can into my journal as much as
Yeah.
possible for what I'm going to be, focused on a daily basis if I can. And
Yeah.
then I rely heavily on my calendar, right?
Yeah.
So I pretty much have told my team, you know, always consult my calendar before you come and say, "Hey, do you have, time tomorrow at 3 or
Exactly.
just it's amazing just even saying, "Hey, behavior modification, moving people in a
Yeah.
direction that you want them to perform and function." That has helped a lot. So people know when I'm free and I have the space. And if
Yeah.
I actually know that I've got to be working on, like today, even though I'm working from home, I have a section of my schedule blocked off because I'm working on a proposal for a client. And I know that
Right.
this is sort of deviating into an area that I need to put some creativity and thought into this proposal.
Mhm.
And I need to build that into my day so I have it other than just showing up at 2 o'clock and saying, okay, I'm going to work on this for the next hour and a half,
Right.
starting from scratch. I have built in some time ahead so that I can actually just sort of think about what I want the outcome to be, what I want that
Mhm.
experience to be like, ultimately, what I want that client to walk away with. And then being able to have that visualization exercise on the front end helps
Right.
me figure out what I'm going to do in the actual proposal itself. But I block that out so people know, hey, just don't reach out to me, don't contact me, don't text,
Exactly.
don't Slack, etc.
Yeah.
What about
No, that's
you? How do
good.
you handle it?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I think it is something it's really about prioritizing and realizing like what it is, what are the things that I actually personally need to have my hand in? What do I have to be present for? And taking those things and saying, okay, those are the things that I need to be doing. And then these are the things that I can delegate to somebody or that I can arrange in some way that there's some sort of automation type
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing going on. It's taken a while. It's taken a while to figure that out, but once you figure that out, and that for me is really, really important about prioritizing. And I'm the same way, Steve. Like for me, I've noticed more and more. I want to plan things out well in advance as much as I can. I mean, being flexible though, keeping myself self still flexible for the things that come up. As they
hmm,
come up, as they do, they really do all the time. But having certain things to where I know that if I had to walk away for a week, 2 weeks, which I recently had something personal happen that I had to step away, there were
yeah,
certain things that were absolutely still going on autopilot, so to speak,
yeah,
and knowing that that's handled. And so it really, and that helps me keep presence of mind because it helps me be more focused and committed to this moment. Okay, this is what I'm working
yeah,
on. And I mean, I love the way that you were just explaining to me, like to us, about your agenda, because it's true. Even for the creativity, even for the visualization, even for the meditation, even for whatever it is, block it out. Block it
yeah,
out because it is just as important as actually, in your case, writing that proposal. It is just as important. And I think
yeah,
that we have to do that as entrepreneurs. And I think in the beginning, when you're first starting out, you get really reactionary. You want to jump on everything. Like you're like, oh, okay, there's something, but you will get yourself so you will be less productive. At the end of the day, you will find out that that is so much less productive than actually focusing in your time.
absolutely. Well, it's
Hmm.
it's funny. I had a good friend tell me, a number of years ago,
Hmm.
which really led me to this way of thinking, is
Hmm.
that I happen to be one of those folks that likes to wear a lot of hats, be involved in a lot of different things,
Right.
and so for me, the I felt like I was super productive when I was just putting out fires continually.
Right.
That's kind of like what I thought a CEO does, or what,
Right.
what an entrepreneur does. And I had a good friend that's just like, you run yourself ragged trying to
Yeah.
chase, it's kind of like whack-a-mole, right? You got
Yeah,
one problem,
exactly.
get the next problem. And
Right.
um, they sort of let me in on a little secret for their success, which was,
Mhm.
prioritization. You only focus
Yeah.
on what's in front of you and you get that done. Or
Yeah.
if you can't get it done, you set it aside to a time that you can put 100% focus on it
Mhm.
before you move on to the next task. And then ultimately, it's about prioritization and, where you're putting that critical thinking towards the benefit of the business. And a lot of it
Yeah.
was, is this a function that I should be doing? Like we said, we talked about delegation
Exactly.
in the past. There's skill sets and abilities for things that pop up in a day-to-day, life of an entrepreneur. But
Yeah.
we know there are better people to handle that, right? You have an executive
Right.
assistant, a VA, a virtual assistant. I've got people that I've hired that help me with some of those things, take off some of that
Exactly.
load. And I really thought that, man, I was flying with a level of efficiency that was just like second to none, just trying
Right.
to put out all the fires and whack all the moles. But really, when I started actually following through with just one commitment at a time and just finishing
Mhm.
one task, whatever that might be, and then trying to plan for the day ahead or the week ahead in a way that I
Yeah.
best could fit it. All of a sudden, things actually started to get better for me. And I
Yeah.
felt like I was in direct control of my day. I felt like one of the upsides, I think my days went by a lot quicker with a lot more
Yeah.
satisfaction. And I didn't come home as stressed or as frustrated, like, oh
Yeah.
my God, it was just like constant, bombardment of stuff, issues all day
Right.
long. I was happier in my work and I was more content in what I was doing. And honestly, I felt more satisfied in what I
Yeah.
was delivering. And I could see that my team was responding in kind because of it.
Yeah.
Because now it wasn't everything was a sky was falling issue, because in most cases it was. Now some of
Right.
these things were being dealt with prior to them becoming small problems, becoming big problems. And I had more direct control and I wasn't as stressed, which made me operate and function around my teammates a lot more effectively.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what, Steve, that is really something because you can be more present with them. You can be more alert. You're more focused. Like you're actually with them. It was very interesting because I know I was talking to a client. This was a couple of weeks ago, a coaching client of mine who's really having difficulty with communication with basically everybody on his team. He just doesn't communicate well. The communication doesn't go well. And one of the things that he realized, and we started doing some kind of evaluation of this, is that he wasn't being present. So he would, you'd be telling him about a problem that you're having, and
Hmm.
he would already be either trying to figure it out or
Yep.
he'd be thinking about the next thing or the last thing or whatever. And the thing about it is that then he would get frustrated because like, why does this person, keep on talking to me about this? Why does this person keep on emailing me about it? I got it
Yeah.
done. And so it was basically nobody felt like they were being heard.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't being present in the moment. And once he started shifting that, it's been very interesting. He's been working really hard on that for a while now. Now he actually realizes that, wait a second, I've actually built a really good team that are eager to do the things that I hired them
Yeah.
for. I just have to get out of the way. I have
Yep.
to let them. And I have to listen, really listen, not just listen to respond, but actually listen, take in what they're saying. So it's quite interesting to see how much of a game changer that can be.
Well, and it is, because I think when you when you relinquish some of the things that are sort of the energy suck, right? That just
Yeah.
take away from where you are in your flow when you are doing your best
Mhm.
work. Because now, you've got these little things that are nibbling at your time and your
Yeah.
attention. You just never get there, right? You never feel like
Yeah.
you're in full throttle mode. And so for me, my, full throttle modes may be shorter in length now, but they're far more effective than they ever
Mhm.
have been. And I feel like I'm not beholden to working 24/7. I'm able to
Mhm.
now really delegate the things that I don't want to do, that I know that I'm not as good. I mean, could
Mhm.
I do them? Sure. Could I,
Yeah.
do them as effectively as my team? Probably not, right? And at the end of the
Right.
day, figuring out who should be managing and handling those issues as they bubble up to the surface.
Mhm.
And then when they need help, making sure that door is open so they know they can come to me for input, but ultimately the decision is theirs.
Mhm.
And it really does take finding the right people, giving them the space to succeed and to fail,
Yeah.
and to give them the confidence to make the decisions that if they do make the wrong one and it wouldn't have been the way you would have gone, that
Mhm.
the most that they're going to have is a conversation with you to say, look, how would we have done it different? How could we have handled this
Right.
situation? Because as entrepreneurs, it's just so easy for us to want to like just jump on. God, you just completely blew that. I would have handled it this way. And they don't
Exactly.
learn and they don't become more efficient and better. And really, I think part of the whole energy factor that you were talking about, why this question came up was how do you get yourself in the best possible space to do the
Mhm.
job as effectively as you can do it? And I
Yeah.
think that's the key. And I think really a lot of people don't take the time to stop long enough to figure those things
Mhm.
out. I wish I had done it 20 years ago. I'd be far more
Right.
successful than I am today. But
Right.
at the end of the day, I got here and I'm glad I did. And it took me a long time to realize it. But I'm far more content and satisfied with what I do day to day in terms of the work. And yeah, some days it means that I actually don't have a whole lot to do, right?
Exactly.
That when I look back, it's like, well, now I'm kind of like, well, hello, everybody took all these great things from me. But, that allows me the space and the time to then go take some long walks or a hike. And then I can focus on, okay, the big picture things for my company,
Yeah.
and that actually is kind of the reward. I've recognized that when I do look around and I don't see a lot on my schedule, rather than trying to fill it with, firefighting
Yeah.
mode or with meaningless tasks, and they're all meaningful, but for me, they might be meaningless, and wasting time, I'm able to open up that space and that sort of that time arena for me to go then play and think
Mhm.
about, okay, what's next? What am I going to create next? How are we going to build upon whatever it is that we're building? How do we improve our
Exactly.
service? And some of my best ideas, really, quite honestly, out of the last 2 years have come from those moments
Yeah.
where I had the time and space to operate.
Yeah, I think that that's important, and I love how that just kind of happens sometimes that way. Whenever you get into the flow, I love it. It's like, whenever you see a gap on your schedule, you're like, oh, okay. I mean, before it would go into panic mode. You'd go into panic mode and be like, oh my God, I'm not doing anything, like I'm not being productive or whatever. But now it's just like, yes, I welcome that. You know what? It gives me the space and time to be open to things, to discover things, to maybe read something or listen to something or whatever it is. It really does serve a purpose in that way.
Yeah, it
Definitely.
does. And, I think the earlier business owners, entrepreneurs and leaders can understand and appreciate that and then leverage it. The
Yeah.
better they're going to be at their job, the more happier they're going to be in their work and their home life. And
Yes.
ultimately, at the end, you're going to find that flow that works the best for you because now you have
Hmm.
the time to concentrate on what that flow might need to
Yeah.
look like or how it should be. And so for a lot of my coaching clients, it's a matter of figuring out, okay, it's not a matter of where you spend your time necessarily all
Hmm.
the time. It's where is that time most effectively spent, right?
Exactly.
So
That's exactly
that's,
right.
that's the key that I think that, if anybody takes anything away from, today's episode is to really understand and appreciate that. And if you really struggle with that, I'd highly encourage you to reach out to Asha or myself
Yeah.
because we're really good at helping others. It's taken me a long time to figure out how to follow my own advice, but I'm really, really good at showing other people what they need to be doing. But
Right.
sometimes it does take somebody there that's kind of that, second set of eyes, second set of ears,
Hmm.
someone that's kind of a sounding board for what you're struggling
Hmm.
with. Because trust us, we've been there and we know
Yeah.
what that's like. And it's sometimes taking somebody kind of clearing the path for you and providing some clarity about here's how you take these steps, here's how you do it, and here's how you guard against anybody stealing away from those times so that you
Yeah.
can get yourself on the path that you're the most effective. And that's really what it's all about, being as effective a
Yeah.
leader, as an effective employee, or as an effective person as you can be.
Exactly. I mean, I think, that's the thing. It comes down to our time here. How do you want to spend your time here? Period. Like, do you want to spend it running around like with the chicken without a head? Just
Yeah.
haphazardly? Or, do you want to making the time count? making your time count, really, is
Yes.
what it's all about.
Yeah,
So yeah.
it's funny. I put on the inside of my door at the office,
Hmm.
how do I want to spend my time? There's a little thing
Hmm.
that I wrote out to myself,
Yeah.
how do I want to spend my time? And if I ask myself walking out of the office, if I'm heading into a meeting or I've got to
Hmm.
go across the office to talk to somebody, it's a good reminder for me. Like,
Yeah.
is this what I should be doing? Is this how I should be doing it? And
Exactly.
if it's not, then what am I going to do to solve that? Right? Is
Yeah.
this something I can hand off? Is this something that I can delegate? Is this something that really is as critical or as important as I think it is right in that second? And
Exactly.
it's become a good litmus test for me to look at those things on a daily basis. And
Yeah.
so, we'd love to hear what others think about this topic and, what
Absolutely.
your mindset is, kind of how you would perceive this. Are you putting together some strategies for yourself that have really paid off, or are you doing some things that maybe you tried that didn't work so well? I mean, we would love to hear from you. So, Asha, how could people get in
Mhm.
contact with us to share some of their thoughts on this episode and perhaps maybe even some ideas for future episodes they'd like us to talk about?
So definitely you can visit our website, conversationswithashandsteve.com, or you can definitely leave a comment below, whether it's on YouTube, whatever platform you're seeing us on. Leave a comment there, or visit Facebook and send us a message there, make a comment. We'd love to hear from you, because this is today's topic, for example, came from a few listeners that were interested in knowing a little bit more about this to help them further themselves in their own business and take ideas and implement them. And we love to hear from people. We also love to hear what people are out there doing that's working for them, because we all can learn, no matter
Yeah.
how long you've been in business, no matter if you're just starting out or if you're seasoned. Like Steve is very seasoned. You're not. Here's the thing. I say that, and it has nothing to do with the years of experience, but he's done so many, he started so many businesses, he's done a lot of different yeah, you've been in so many different industries, actually, Steve. So that, I mean, that comes to experience with that. So
Well, I thank you. I appreciate that, but I'm not as seasoned or cooked as you might imply.
well, you're not cooked, but I mean
Well, more like a blackened salmon or chicken or something. I don't know. Maybe that's how the seasoning is. I, I have definitely been scorched. Let's
yeah.
put it that way a few times. Well, and for those of you that don't know, I highly recommend that Asha, share your website so that everybody knows you've
Yeah.
got some great programs that are going on right now that people can sign up for.
Yeah, I've got one that I want to just mention. You can go to my website, drashaprasad.com. I am releasing there is a masterclass program that is a recorded program that I did, and it's really about it's entitled Meditation and Mindset Exercises for Success. And this is for entrepreneurs. It's not only for entrepreneurs, but it is for people that are looking to really utilize the power of meditation and really getting a handle on their mindset for their success in life. So be sure to check it out. You can go to my website, or you can email us and ask us for any information on that. So,
Yeah,
and
it's an
Steve, how
awesome
about
program.
you? How can
People can
people
check out
contact
my
you?
work at ripplecentral.com. We've got some new stuff
Mhm.
that's going to be coming out. We actually are coming back out and redoing or sort of relaunching, I should say, the 8 Minute Ripple events. 8 Minute
Awesome.
Ripple, for those of you that don't know, is networking for non-networking people, and we're doing it in a way that allows people to actually embrace the power of connecting in a completely different medium than
Hmm.
traditional networking, where you feel like you have to have that elevator pitch and people feel like they have to put on these airs. This is all about human to human connection. It's really, really powerful. And we're doing them virtual. So pretty much
Awesome.
anywhere in the world that you might be, you could attend one. And you can find out more about that at ripplecentral.com. Going to be working on, some updates to the website over the next probably 3 to 4 weeks. So you're going to see some changes there.
Great.
But yeah, if you're interested, the next Ripple, I believe, is on February 17th. And
Okay.
like I said, it's virtual, so you definitely want to jump in and check it out. It's a great way to connect with some amazing Ripplers within my community. So,
So, Steve, can you drop a link in the comment section for people to sign up? for
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'll be
Okay,
happy to
perfect.
do that. Yeah, I'll put your link
Perfect.
in as well, and
Okay, perfect.
yeah, we will. We definitely will be back. We have not done a live stream
Yeah.
because our schedules have still not yet aligned. Where a Friday has opened up, where we can both jump on at the same
Yes.
time. And but we will be back very
Yes,
soon
we will.
with live streams because I know people have been missing that. I've heard a lot from a lot of people, like
Yeah.
they've been missing our energy online, and we want to do these episodes, however, though, to keep the momentum up and keep those conversations happening. We hope that you're finding this useful. I know that I learn so much from Dr. Asha every time that we do this, and so we're so grateful that you tune in to Conversations with Asha and Steve, whether it's the live stream or the audio podcast, or of course our videos on Facebook and YouTube.
Perfect, Steve. Well, I enjoy this. I always learn from you as well. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks. I don't know what wisdom I have, but I'll share what I got. All right. Until next time, take care.
All right, take care.
Thank you for joining us for today's episode of Conversations with Asha and Steve. We love to hear feedback and questions from our listeners. Please feel free to visit our Facebook page for more tips and information. You can also email us directly at info@ripplecentral.com for more information.